got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Welcome back to the Ministry of Truth. I am your number one host on this channel. My name is Javi. Good morning, Cat Reed. So I got a few videos for you to go over today, and they all involve police. Some involve schools. Some involve children. Some involve Fox News. So before we get into that, it's Thursday. I like some new music. Well, this actually isn't new. This is from 5 months ago. I'm just fucking slow. But I think we should all get a little piece of this early in the morning. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this isn't some music. Before we get to the video,
year 2030,
brought to you by Liza.
I hope you have your bug protein and VR goggles ready as you sit there owning nothing, because you're in for a treat tonight. We have many celebrities in the house that we tell you care about, and they pretend to care about you. And they're definitely not mouthpieces of their puppet masters used to promote various vested interests. Definitely not that. So without further ado, let's get into our first category. And the Best Rap Group of the Year award goes to the Backstreet Boys.
I'm going to hell for this.
Hey, you'll own nothing and be happy. I'm your new mommy and daddy. See what happens if you getting in the way of what we planning. Extort the House and Senate, implement a social credit. You can see where this is headed. It's a global Armageddon. Lock them down for climate change, but we still flying private planes. Go to sleep, you little sheep. We don't want you wide awake. Banning every car with gas. Then we charge carbon tax. Pretend that we confused when everybody gets a heart attack. Make the kids sad and depressed. Tell them men have ass and breasts. Make the women masculine. You'll enjoy having less. Penetrate the cabinets. You're either privileged or oppressed. Fly to islands to have sex. Whoops, forget that I said that.
So you got droplets. You actually have to wear a few masks on your backside, on your rectum, because the drop, someone coughs, so and across the country, across
Alex
the world,
Stein.
it could go in the toilet and actually come up your toilet, and it actually get you sick. It gets you sick through to the rectum. It's called rectumitis.
What is this? No! The World Health Organization is not going to exist. I'm not going to live in a world where my wife and her boyfriend have to eat bugs. And guess what? I'm going to own a gas stove and you're not going to do a damn thing about it. And I'm going to live in a 45-minute minimum city, not just 15-minute bullcrap. Ah!
What's the truth? It doesn't matter, cause we brainwashing the youth. Poison the water and the sky and all your food. Rules for D and not for me, we are immune. We make the rules, so tell me what's the truth? It doesn't matter, cause we brainwashing the youth. Poison the water and the sky and all your food. Rules for D and not for me, we are immune. We make the rules, so tell me what's the truth? Surprise, we own the signs, you know we control supply. So that if you don't comply, you might starve or go cold tonight. Keep them shut, don't open eyes. Politicians have the closest ties, make everything overpriced. Make the whole world go inside. Own the news and media, believe what we're feeding you. And if you do not, then every hour we repeat it, bruh. Disarm and depopulate, we choose who you nominate. We pretend to tolerate, and that's just how we operate. Use these dumb celebrities to push all our agendas, please. Who you think came up with the idea of human centipede? Make you sick and charge you for the cure that we have readily. Let's separate them medically, but to us.
Hey, Ghetto, I've been following Bryson's shit. 2018, 2019?
there are peasant just the truth. It doesn't
Him and
matter
Tyson
cause
James.
we brainwashing the youth. Poison the water and the sky and all your food. Rules for thee and not for me, we are immune. We make the rules, so tell me what's the truth. It doesn't matter cause we brainwashing the youth. Poison the water and the sky and all your food. Rules for thee and not for me, we are immune. We make the rules, so tell me what's the truth.
Shit, nobody knows
The man,
what
I
truth is
mean,
anymore.
the one, what is he again? The person in charge of nuclear waste was caught stealing luggage at a high-res video shoot. Their current whereabouts is unknown.
Thank you for watching the video. You and your friends will eat the bugs, while me and my friends, we will eat the steak and the lobster and enjoy
All right.
the beer.
All right.
Make sure you buy the t-shirt, Stop the Greatly Flick. Also, make sure you grab your Trust the Science t-shirts. And remember...
All right. Well, Vlad, what's up, brother? All right, so hold on, let me find it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos of cops. Some doing great cop things, some doing not so great cop things. But the ones I'm going to do first are the ones doing great cop things. So this is Iowa. And this man, let's see if they put his fucking name. Henry Dickens, a convicted sex offender, stands accused of shooting a 10-year-old and dumping her body in a secluded pond on private land. So, I guess, stunning and brave.
Welcome everybody to Long Crime Daily. I'm Jesse Weber. An Iowa man released early from prison is locked back up again. He's accused of kidnapping a little girl and killing her. The prosecution gave its opening statement on Thursday in the case of Henry Dinkins. And we want to make the connection between the defendant and the alleged victim clear here. So Dinkins is not her father. Rather, he's the father of her half-brother. Breasia Terrell and her brother were staying with Dinkins and his girlfriend overnight in Davenport, Iowa in 2020. At some point during the night, it's believed that Dinkins took Breasia from the apartment and killed her. Her disappearance prompted a massive search, but her remains weren't found until nearly a year after she was reported missing. Fishermen spotted her body in a pond about 25 miles away from Davenport in March of 2021. At the time, Dinkins was locked up on an unrelated charge. See, it turns out he's a sex offender who had been released early from prison but was required to register, and police say he didn't do that, so they arrested him. Then, when Breasia's remains were found, they charged him with kidnapping and murder. The prosecutor laid out what Dinkins' girlfriend
Where's his orange suit? That motherfucker should be in a permanent orange suit.
Happens to pull back the curtain to the window and looks out, and little Breasia is standing by a maroon Chevy Impala on the passenger side of the vehicle. Mr. Dinkins returns to the apartment. He comes up. He's very, very frazzled. Ms. Culberson wants to know what's going on. He said, there's issues. I'll talk with you about it later. Where's Breasia? There's no Breasia. And then she goes down. Sometimes
I watch these Law and Order cases live. Some of them just drag on too long, so I can't wait till the end.
To the maroon Chevy Impala. Breasia is not in the car. When the three gentlemen went to go fishing, they were walking down that steep incline, having parked their pickup trucks up on the road. And because we're talking about March 22nd, there's no vegetation. One of the gentlemen looks over to what would be his right as he's walking down, looks to the north essentially, and he sees a human skull. He points it out to his two friends. They go over and check, and sure enough, it is a human skull. Because Breasia Terrell and her having been missing was so highly publicized, the gentleman will testify that at some point they made the connection. Is this Breasia Terrell's remains?
Okay, let's break this down. I'm joined right now by my co-host, defense attorney Brian Buckmeyer. Brian, good to see you. I want to start with the sex offender part. Is that going to be playing a role in this trial? Because on one hand, it's not connected, but on the other hand, he shouldn't have been around minors and was supposed to register and didn't. Is it going to play a role in the case at all?
I go back and forth with that because I do think, especially when the prosecution is talking about maybe.
I don't know why it goes back and forth to that. He is a registered sex offender who, by the way, didn't register, shouldn't have been around kids in the first place. So how's that not a factor?
Consciousness of guilt when he comes back to the home without the daughter, and he just kind of freaks out, as the way they put it. But we're talking about a sexual conviction from 1990 when he was 17. Now he's 51. So there's two issues. One, are the crimes truly connected? The sexual assault or the registration and this. Two, it's over 30 years ago. How are you going to use what he did then to try to show some sort of innocence or guilt here now?
But again, this is a crime against a minor. Should the jury not know about that?
Is it a sexual crime?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
No one knows.
The question is, how important is it for the prosecution to put that in there? You heard the opening statement. Do you think that they have enough in this case without presenting anything about his past?
I think they've got it. And I think that's where the judge will push back and they would say, why do you need this? If you've got the circumstantial evidence of him leaving with the daughter, him coming back without her, what does the registration have to do with any of this? And I think that's where the prosecution will struggle. The other thing too is, once you say he's a sex offender and he should have registered and he's not supposed to be around minors, my feeling that the defense's fear and the judge's fear is the jury closes their ears and they say, forget about it. And that's where you get into the land of too prejudicial and not probative enough.
So you talked about that you think they have enough. What do you think they have enough? Just the idea of he was the last one with her? Because her body wasn't found like the next day. It was found
a year later.
About a year later. What's the strongest evidence you think against him?
It's not necessarily one piece of evidence that is strong.
I mean, it's like a year later.
Really,
I don't know how forensic works, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty down to bone by then, especially in the wild, animals eating it. How would they know if she wasn't sexually assaulted before she was shot? Being that he is a registered sex offender. Granted, they can't prove that, but they also can't prove that he didn't, considering he's a registered sex offender.
A test case for reasonable doubt, because they don't have direct evidence, but all the evidence around it doesn't have a reasonable explanation for him not killing her. And I think that's the defense's real struggle here. Find a reasonable explanation for him not being the one, and maybe they have a case, but right now I don't see it.
It's a disturbing case, to say the least. And, it's interesting. We talked about the sex offender because we were having a conversation this morning, and some of the people we were talking to said, if I was on the jury and I knew that about him, they would probably convict him on that alone.
Probably why they don't let it out.
And welcome back to Long Crime.
I mean,
everybody. So
I still think it should be known. But, that's just me.
Continuing our coverage of the start of Henry Dinkins' kidnapping and murder trial, the case is a little bit unique because the defendant chose to have a bench trial instead of a jury trial. So Dinkins is accused of taking a 10-year-old girl, the daughter of the mother of one of his children, while she was sleeping over at his apartment. Breasia Terrell was last seen alive in Davenport, Iowa in July 2020, and her skeletal remains were found the next March by some fishermen. Dinkins was a sex offender who was in police custody when Breasia's body was found for failing to register. Dinkins chose to have a bench trial. Now, that means that a judge is going to decide
10-year-old motherfucker. He ain't no
thug. There's no jury. When the prosecution wrapped up its opening statement on Thursday, the defense decided to hold off on their opening a little bit longer.
And that's all for the statement.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Mr. Freese, is the defense going to present an opening statement?
Your Honor, the defense is going to reserve its right to make an opening statement in the close of the government's evidence.
All right. Thank you very much. That'll conclude the proceedings this morning.
I'm surprised by this, Brian, why he chose to have a judge over a jury. Usually my understanding is you choose a bench trial when there's like a complicated issue of law. You think maybe the judge will be better, suited to handle that than a jury. Why do that here?
So there are two reasons why a person would have a bench trial rather than jury trial. And you do have the right to a jury, so oftentimes you can choose. The first one, which I don't think it is when you get that wink and the nod from the judge. And I've had that before. When you're making arguments as a defense attorney, judge just doesn't work, yada, 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 yada. And the judge says, don't worry about it. Don't. And when you get that, the judge is going to take care because they understand and then probably on your side when they're not saying it. But that's not the issue here. I think when you have such a gruesome case and there's a potential where you might have the fact that your client's a registered sex offender come out, you really want to focus not on the emotional and the disgusting aspects of it. You want to focus on a very key legal issue that you're hoping the judge will focus on and ignore the rest as opposed.
Wait a second. I didn't know you could pick a judge or a jury. But why would you do the judge? In my opinion, that would be more likely a case for corruption if it's by a judge.
as opposed to a jury who would take it all in.
That's a good point. I mean, and also I should tell you that we know that this was moved, right? It's moved from Scott County to Lynn County and then back once it was a bench trial. How does that affect anything?
So it moved from Scott County because of the high publicity. And I think that's where they were like, I don't want to do a jury trial here.
Right.
And then went to Lynn County and they said, hey, even if we go to Lynn County, maybe they polled the jury. Maybe they kind of looked around and did focus groups and said, we're still not good here. And so I think they might have done a little bit of forum shopping or judge shopping and said, if we go back and have a bench trial, we don't have to worry about a jury pool in Scott or Lynn County. We can go back to the judge we had before who's heard all these horrible issues for months and months on end and might not be reacting to it as if someone who had heard it for the first time. And I think that's a bit of the strategy here.
And speaking about the defense's strategy, the fact that they chose to reserve an opening statement, the history that I've seen that
I've never heard of that.
Let's see what the prosecution's case is, right? Though it's not, we don't have to jump the gun on what we want to say.
Yeah, a defense attorney doesn't have to give an opening statement, and they can do like they did here and reserve it till afterwards. It also gives.
Holy fuck! So it's getting even worse, huh? And he'll probably only get 180 days.
You kind of like 2 bites of the apple of a summation because you get to give your opening after the prosecution's case and then you get a closing afterwards. And so you can kind of, like you said, see what they've got, poke holes in your opening after their case, and then do it again after maybe you present a case or in your closing.
And I have to imagine that's more beneficial in front of a judge who's seen that happen before than a jury who might be like, wasn't the defense supposed to go right here? And they might, make something of it. That's maybe also a consideration.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Anyway, well, there's that. What do y'all think? 7 minutes from your house. Hope you went over there and gave him a high five. All right, this one is from, you guessed it, Florida. So this guy is at a park full of kids. Hello, Bat Mom. And he's just sitting in his car, and he decides he wants to put his dick in his hand and start, yeah. Sumo. Let's see. Like I said, this is from Florida. Let me see where it's at. I saw Port Orange Police Department. And the dude's name is Lavon Glenn. So let's see, Lavon. Why were you playing with your dick outside of a park full of kids?
So I get the kids out and I just glance one more time, and sure enough, penis is in his hand, phone's out, his pants are down.
Police in Port Orange, Florida, on the scene after a call for a man exposing himself in a park. The suspect, Lavon Glenn, is less than cooperative when police have to chase him down.
You're not going to take my car, bro. You're not going to take my car. No, I'm not, man. You're not going to take my car. You're going to get tased. You're going to get tased. Get out of the car. You're not, man. Get out of the car.
Thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. I'm Anjanette Levy. Lavon Glenn is a 49-year-old man who police in Volusia County, Florida, know very well. He's been arrested several times and is a convicted felon. On August 5th, Port Orange police found Glenn after receiving this complaint.
So we parked next to the car. I get out, and it looked like he had his dick in his hand. Maybe I thought he was taking pictures or something. His phone was up, at the steering wheel. So I'm like, I don't think that's what's going on, but I'm getting the kids out at the same time. So I get the kids out and I just glance one more time, and sure enough, penis is in his hand, phone's out, his pants are down almost to his knees. So then that's when we loaded up and called.
About 4 minutes later, police tracked down Lavon Glenn, who's agreed to give a statement. Glenn claims he was changing his clothes. It's a little difficult to hear Glenn, so listen closely.
Just out of curiosity, what brought you here to change your clothes?
I said, okay, I have a suit right here. I'm going to change my clothes real quick. I'm changing my clothes, and then I said, damn, I left my underwear in there. Got out, got my underwear, put my clothes back down, put my underwear on. Tied my shoes, and then y'all walked up. Sometimes they don't want them trying to put my clothes back up. He said, look, he seen me when he walked up. I ain't doing I'm not filming nobody. I'm not doing in that church, putting my clothes back up. I ain't doing man. I don't do that. I'm not.
You ever have, while you were changing, did you have your phone in your hands at all?
My phone's always up here. Okay.
Police then put on some gloves, and it's clear they're going to ask Glenn to get out of the car. Glenn continues to insist he was just changing his clothes.
I've been up since 4:30, so this is not really a wake and bake. I already did that.
No, I'm not, man. You're not going to take
Get out of the car. You're going to get tased.
You're going to get tased.
Get out of the car.
Not, man. Get out of the car. I didn't do wrong, bro. I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm not going to tell you again.
You're going to get tased.
Nothing wrong, bro. Don't touch me, man. Sir? Call the supervisor. Don't put your hands on me. I'm not going to tell you.
You're going to get tased.
You're going to get tased. I'm going to record this, bro. That's fine. Okay, I'm not touching nobody. I didn't do wrong. You're not going to touch me and put me in that car. You're not.
Last chance.
You're not.
Oh.
That's not mine. You just put that in there. Yeah, okay, you put that in there. I ain't doing that.
Put what in there?
Get your hands off me, man.
Back up, Davis.
As you saw, Glenn refused to get out of the car several times and then said he would record this whole interaction himself. He also accused the cops of planning something in his car. Drugs, maybe? Then after getting hit with the taser, he takes off.
What? Guess that taser didn't work. Or did he miss?
I know, I get it.
Clearly, this is a problem. The officers chase Glenn in their cruisers.
Black Mazda.
All units, if you're not in the pursuit, 10-3.
10-3 is police code for stop transmitting.
15, I may have the car on Carmen Drive. I'm trying to catch up to one. 12 Bravo 15 Central. I think I have the vehicle westbound Ridge Boulevard.
Minutes later, officers catch up to Glenn and run after him. Officers from nearby South Daytona police join in the chase. One officer even scales a wall.
That dude's a beast. That's all a wall. That ain't that fucking wall. I could do that.
Where is it? Stop! We're still heading up. Get down. Stop.
This guy deserves a reward.
Taser, taser, taser! All right, you got it?
Oh, never mind.
Get him! You just hit me! Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind
Can't breathe.
Put it behind your back. All right. Put it behind your back. All right, got it. All right. All right. All right. Sit down on the ground.
Officers stun Glenn one more time.
Behind your back. Loosen up. Loosen up and you won't get tased. Loosen up. Loosen up.
Every time you tense up, you're getting tased.
What? Really?
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Levon Glenn is finally in cuffs on the ground, but he's still a little defiant.
Give me the keys. Hold on, drop the keys. I want my keys. Drop them. I don't want my keys, man. If you're not going to have your keys, drop your keys, bro. Oh, come on, man. Drop them. Drop your keys.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, man. All right, well, you're putting yourself in terrible position. Roll forward. Okay, now pop your other keys. All right, ready? I'm going to stand.
No, I'm just saying because when about 5 years ago, I used to Spartan race, and I would easily get up over a 10-foot wall.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. You gotta help yourself, man. Come on.
Once Glenn is on his feet, officers see he has an injury to his head.
Come on, here, sit down.
Yeah, you smashed it on the damn.
Okay, I'm dizzy. Come on, I know you're probably dizzy. Come on, we're good. Sit down.
Oh yeah, why don't we sit him down, get him in the shade.
Sit down, bro. Come on. You need to sit down. Sit. Do you want to stand up? Okay. I'm sorry. Sit down. Put that in my pocket, please.
Glenn faces a number of charges: indecent exposure, assault with a deadly weapon, battery on a law enforcement officer, possession of cocaine, possession of cannabinoid, fleeing or attempting to elude, and resisting arrest with violence. Glenn was taken to the Volusia County Jail. His bail was set at $23,500.
Wait, I thought weed was legal in Florida. Am I wrong on that? Maybe. Probably. All right. So this next one I got for you is body cam footage from Oklahoma. I am not going to read into it. You're going to see what Ashley Cheatham did. So, hello, Ashley. Welcome to the party.
All right, Ashley. You're under arrest for sexual battery of a minor. And possession of child pornography.
A disturbing story out of Oklahoma where a teenager is arrested after allegedly taking sexually explicit photos and videos of her boyfriend's 3-year-old daughter.
You're under arrest.
Body camera video shows the arrest of 19-year-old Ashley Cheatham, who was taken into custody on August 22nd in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Video shows officers approach her door.
She doesn't answer. Get some C4. It'll open the door right up.
After nearly 30 seconds, Cheatham approaches the door, telling officers she's not wearing any clothes.
Hello. Okay. You Ashley? What's your last name? Okay.
Still, officials take Cheatham into custody almost immediately.
You're under arrest.
Prior to her arrest, Cheatham's boyfriend contacted police, saying he discovered a series of shocking photos and videos on her phone while she was sleeping. He said the videos showed Cheatham abusing his 3-year-old daughter. In a press release, Stillwater police called him a, quote, very distraught parent.
We'll get pants for you.
Where is he?
Ashley, do you have any pants? Yeah, let's push right.
Cheatham's boyfriend explained he met her online, saying the couple had just moved in together. Video shows Cheatham apparently frazzled after she's handcuffed as first responders search for a pair of pants for her to put on.
How hard can it be to find pants in this work?
There you go. Is there any room? Go now. Are they jeans or shorts or shorts? What color are they?
Well, see, the thing is, Ghetto, I think the fact that he didn't actually probably works out better for him, because if he had fucked her up, he'd probably be in jail.
So anywhere in particular, so I have to dig through stuff.
I have no idea. I literally just woke up. I don't know.
Do you know, like, where is your place where you normally keep your shorts?
So why do you have the door with no...
Pajama pants are fine.
These pajamas right here? Okay, can I put you in there?
What's you crying for?
You got any form of like slip-on shoe or anything?
Just put them up in the front a little bit. They're like falling down.
Next, investigators asked Cheatham whether she wants to bring her ID.
Is your ID in your purse? You got that? You're with it?
Stop crying. Hope you're crying in jail. You're gonna be there, bitch.
That's why I was here. That's why I came, in case I need to sit in there. Okay, yeah, just that's there.
Moments later, officers explain why Cheatham is being arrested.
All right, Ashley. You're under arrest for sexual battery of a minor. And possession of child. And possession of child pornography.
3-year-old's a minor. Jack surprised.
She now faces multiple charges, including sexual abuse of a child under 12, making or distributing obscene material or child pornography, possession of marijuana, and violation of Oklahoma Computer Crimes Act. Officials say Cheatham later admitted to the crimes. She was booked into the Payne County Jail and received a protective order prohibiting her from contacting the alleged victim. Local TV stations report that before her arrest, Cheatham was in the process of being hired at a local elementary school.
Oh,
A
shit!
spokesperson for that district says the hiring process has since been called off. Reporting for Law and Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Bro, I didn't know about that end part. Holy shit. Anyway, wow. So, wow. I'm glad she got caught. Holy fuck, man. All right, from some good cops to some shitty cops. And by shitty cops, we're going to start off with the FBI. Just going to jump straight into it.
Department of Justice telling House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan that the subpoenas given out to 2 FBI agents cannot be enforced. The agency claims it's because Jordan barred DOJ lawyers from their depositions, even though those stipulations do align with House rules, according to the Washington Examiner. Jordan says that the 2 agents were present at an October 7th meeting of last year, where Delaware prosecutor David Weiss said he, quote, was not the deciding person in bringing charges against Hunter Biden. So we have to be clear in terms of what went down here, Kaylee. We know that the FBI agents said they were in the room. I spoke with Gary Shapley on Sunday, and he said, I was in the room. I heard what he said. He said, I'm not the decider. And yet, who is? It's got to be Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland testified under oath that he did not interfere in this investigation. So this is some serious stuff going on here, because this is going to potentially open up the can of worms of whether or not perjury has taken place. Did Merrick Garland commit perjury? Is that why they won't allow these subpoenas to be enforced?
Yeah, and well, let's be clear that the only reason that David Weiss was appointed as special counsel was so that they could use this excuse, that there's an ongoing investigation, we can't talk about it, we can't give you the information that we need. That's truly the only reason here. And David Weiss and Merrick Garland are both, their strategy is to run out the clock on this investigation.
Yeah, that's what
we know based on whistleblower reports that.
I'll tell you right now, Merrick Garland, he's hoping and praying that the Biden administration continues, because his life will get rough if a Republican gets in office.
This investigation into Hunter Biden would never have been opened in the first place had it not been for the whistleblowers coming forward. And the strategy here is not even to to protect Hunter Biden, it's to protect Joe Biden. If you look at the statute of limitations on the crimes that Joe Biden is allegedly being accused of, David Weiss has made it so that if Republicans are able to gather enough evidence to...
My favorite thing is where he lied on the fucking background check form for a weapon and got away with it. If I had done it, guess what? I'd be in fucking federal pounding that booty time right now.
Bring a prosecutorial case against the president, they might not even be able to do so because he has deliberately run out the clock on the statute of limitations, making it impossible to prosecute him for these crimes.
Well, 2014 was one of his biggest money-making years, we understand. That's when you had payments paid, apparently, according to the House Oversight Committee, paid into those shell companies, which eventually made their way to Biden family members. And you're right, 2014, the clock has run up, I think,
it's
on that year.
Yeah.
So I think tax year 2014 and 15 were already past the statute of limitations on that. And they're going to continue to slow play this so that everything can expire.
And those are the biggest money-making years for them.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, look, I got to tell you, if you are unbiased, nonpartisan, moderate, you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't realize that the fix was in. I mean, you look at this and it just looks like the odds are stacked in Biden's favor and against President Trump. If there was ever an investigation on President Trump, which we know there's always an investigation on President Trump, you know that during that investigation, there's obviously going, they're going to put him through the ringer.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me because there's such Trump hatred from a small cabal of people who don't want him to upset the apple cart of them and in their powerful positions for so long. But wouldn't you expect most of us to agree that, look, we don't want this kind of two systems of justice?
Nobody wants
Nobody
this.
wants
we
this
want something that's fair.
unfairness.
Yes, we want something that's fair.
We understand you have Trump derangement. You hate the guy. Fine. But
Put me in charge of the
I've
Department
never
of
seen
Justice.
this kind of, hatred to the extent of what we're seeing.
It's scary too. I mean,
it makes you wonder, what are they afraid of?
But it's not going to stop with Trump. That's the thing.
Right.
It's going to
Right,
continue.
right.
This is the
Well,
precedent. This
y'all are
is the
gonna shut
standard
up
that
now
they have set for
because
themselves.
I just want to let you know there are bad fucking cops. All the way up to the top. And there's also bad cops that like to violate First Amendment right of journalists in the city of Livingston, New Jersey. So if you live in Livingston, New Jersey, or near Livingston, New Jersey, and you have a kid that goes to school in Livingston, New Jersey, this is your school board.
There's about 8 of them, and none of them, we have all the different administrators in there. None of them that have been principals and stuff. None of them recognize them as past students. They're not parents. They're different looking. Some, they look Trumpish, and to be like, they look a little scary.
Police.
Question. What does looking Trumpish mean? Anybody? No?
Body camera footage obtained by OMG, one of the most riveting and fascinating psychological case studies into what school board officials, superintendents, and cops are saying, thinking, and believing about you.
Livingston Police.
There's a group of about 9 men.
What are they doing?
Yeah, so they're there, they're on their phones, they've never been there before. It was just a little bit of concern.
Who called this? Tony McLaughlin. She's the executive.
How dare 9 people to show up to a school board meeting and be on their phones? Damn those phones!
Assistant to the superintendent. Is she? Who called this? Tony McLaughlin. She's the executive assistant to the superintendent. Is she? Yeah, I'll grab her. Hold on. Yeah.
On August 8th, during the school board meeting, the Livingston school board officials calling the police on citizens because they don't recognize them.
It's just so from what I understand, there's some extra work. There's people that aren't usually your usual board
Watchers, exactly.
Right.
There's like
people that come to the meetings. It's new faces that you've never seen before.
Never seen before. Some of them, they don't look like Livingston. They might be.
Executive Assistant
They don't
Tony
look like
McLaughlin
Livingston?
talking to police officer Pancione in Livingston, New Jersey, who's wearing the body camera.
What's your name?
Officer Pancione.
Pancione, okay.
They apparently forgot that the body camera was recording over 40 minutes of conversation back and forth as they compare O'Keefe Media Group citizen journalists to Antifa.
So you think this might be part of some kind of like
that's what
like an Antifa, not like an Antifa, but something along those lines.
That's exactly what we're thinking. And maybe they're going to all different board meetings. I'm not sure. So I just thought it'd be safe that I call you.
You called this, correct?
Yes.
My name is Char Hudson, and I am calling to see if I could request a police presence at the Board of Ed.
Now, we caught up with Tony McLaughlin as she was arriving to work on Tuesday. It's a very revealing interaction. My name is James O'Keefe. Are you Tony McLaughlin, the assistant superintendent of the school?
I am.
You did call the police on us. We have body cam footage of you. This is you on the police footage.
They look Trumpish.
You said that there's some, quote, Trumpish people.
They're different looking. They look Trumpish. And
What did you mean by Trumpish at the school board meeting?
I still feel like commenting now.
You've commented quite a bit. There's 45 minutes of video from the police officer here in Livingston of you saying that you were, quote, intimidated by citizens showing up at a school board meeting asking questions.
Does they look shady? Like
Yes, they definitely look
like
there's something up.
not like a Livingston parent, like what to do.
Definitely not.
Academy.
Yeah, they videotape. I think there's more like intimidate and stir the pot.
What is intimidating about citizens showing up at a school board meeting talking about diversity, equity, inclusion?
I did not know what the citizens were going to talk about.
Okay.
They were not living. Usually we have people commenting on items on the agenda.
So why did you call the police?
Because I was directed to do so.
Now, remember on August 8th, on the steps outside the school board meeting, I asked Officer Pancione.
Directed to do so by who? I thought she called on her own recognizant.
From a distance, I said, "Did you call the cops on us?" And he said, "My supervisor did."
So you called the police? Like I said, I was told to come here by my supervisor.
I'm a journalist.
Okay, very good.
Very good.
Yep. Well, now we have obtained footage of Officer Pancione walking back into the room, talking to the school board officials and saying, "Oh, he's a journalist." Well, I don't care.
I don't want to get into discussion. They want to know who called the police. They're the guy in the blue blazer. I'm a journalist. Very good. I could care less.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What about your own town, your own county?
Right.
What's the
right?
You got to come here and cause a disruption.
Wait a second. James O'Keefe tried that in a small town? Huh? All right, I tried.
Not a disruption, but
yeah.
You know, you say I could care less. You're a journalist. I'm not here to answer your questions. I don't
Actually,
answer
you
to
are.
If he can be a journalist, he can do all he wants. I don't answer to you.
You're a public servant. You definitely do.
I mean, technically, they do have a. Do they have a right to do this?
No, technically, no. You have to be a Livingston
Resident to come.
There's no technically about
You
it.
have to have some type of affiliation.
They are allowed to. They're allowed to. Check your own fucking your rules and regulations.
Connection with Livingston. Other than that, these things shouldn't be.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be needed for something like this. But you have these groups that they just want nothing better to do, and just. I think it's more intimidation. And the one guy in the blue blazer went outside to look. He's like, "Oh, I'm a journalist. I don't care." Did they call the cops on us? I says I was told to come here by my supervisor. Don't worry about it. They call the cops. I'm here. What do you think I'm here? How do you think I got here?
Yeah,
they were probably recording me. That's fine. They're being recorded too. So
James O'Keefe, he's
the guy in the blue blazer.
Yeah,
what is that? He's just a rebel.
So, this is how you know they have no idea who James O'Keefe is, because they heard his name once or twice in the news and are like, "Yeah, that dude's a fucking shit starter." Well, I mean, he is, but it's the right kind of shit that he's starting.
Rouser, stir the pot. Let's
investigative journalist.
Good for him.
Who does he work for, though? Like, who
I
does he
think
publish
he's
for?
by
Who does he publish for?
I think he does his own investigative
That's what
journalism.
Michelle.
You know, his podcasts. And
Okay.
You know, you got a phone. You're famous, right?
There's this.
You know, if he has a question.
O'Keefe Media Group.
Yeah.
So, if this guy has an issue with what you guys are doing,
You guys got to remember, O'Keefe literally lost his own company because of an op-ed he did on, not an op-ed, a fucking exposure he did on a representative of Pfizer, which, by the way, got my other channel nuked because I wanted people to know. Now I don't know if I want to show that. I think I do if it's on Rumble, but not YouTube anymore.
Ask a question.
ask a question.
He didn't ask one.
He didn't ask one. He was up there talking, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's just a carnival bar. That's all.
You know, if you have a problem, go to the state. If you have a problem, go to the state. Go to the governor. Go to the state board of education, state education, Department of Education. Why are you going to interrupt a local, small little town
Right.
when you can go to the higher authority?
Sure.
And he's looking, you know, he's probably one of these guys that are looking for a fight, like a verbal, like a confrontation.
But the story's going to end up being this meeting, and they had security. They had security.
And we were shut down.
We were shut down, not to record, and they had a cop waiting for us outside. That's going to be the story.
Let him. Let him.
That's exactly what happened.
I was sent here. They said, and that's it, because they were concerned. You were concerned that several individuals came in that you never saw. They're not. You know, they're not Livingston parents.
Right.
You were just concerned that they were going to cause an uproar. You have that right.
Yeah. James O'Keefe offers tools for transparency to disgruntled parents in another New Jersey school district. And there's this little investigative reporter article.
So this is
Get
what his
that
thing
from the
is.
Atlantic.
Go to the towns that are doing this diversity, equity, inclusion curriculum or whatever they're doing,
Yes, yeah.
and I guess he's against it. Or
Yeah. This one's talking specifically about his
Get
one
a-
last
you know what?
week in
Get a life.
Roselle Park.
Seriously, this is the society we live in now. The one guy in the blue blazer went outside to look.
See,
He's like,
you hear that?
I'm a journalist.
It's the society we live in now. So that probably means he doesn't fucking care. He's probably the kind of guy who would be like, "Oh, you're trying to meet up with a kid. It's okay. That's society now. We understand you're not a pedophile. You're a minor attracted person. Have a good day, sir, ma'am."
Journalist. I don't care. Did they call the cops on us? I says I was told to come here by my supervisor.
What's remarkable is the officer is still wearing the body camera, but apparently forgets that he is wearing it because it captures his blasé and mini tyrannical side, saying that he doesn't answer
Morning,
to
Moment. How you
citizens,
doing?
he doesn't answer to citizen journalists, and he doesn't care that we are journalists. Obviously, the police officer does indeed exist to serve and protect the citizens and has to answer to citizens. That's why we obtained the body cam footage in the first place through a public records request. At one point, Officer Pancioni, in conjunction with Tony McLaughlin, questioned whether I have a right to be at the school board meeting.
Do they have a right to do this?
No, technically, no. You have to be a Livingston
Resident.
or you could work at Livingston. You have to have some type of affiliation.
Connection with
Good,
Livingston.
good.
Other than that, these things shouldn't be. Yeah. We shouldn't be needed for something like this. But you have these groups that they just want nothing better to do.
This is clearly erroneous. New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act is codified under New Jersey SA 1046 to 10421. The citation refers to New Jersey statutes annotated. It ensures the public can attend all school board meetings.
So they violated their own code that they should probably know.
In the state, regardless of where you live, so this officer is ignorant of the law.
Good work, good work.
Down there and videotape the license plates down there.
I mean, I can run the license plates.
I just thought they were parents. So I was like, oh, a lot of people.
You can see them what cars they get in. If they come from another town.
At one point, Officer Pancione speaks with Susan Berman. She's an official in the Human Resources Department in the Livingston School District. And Susan Berman is absolutely giddy about scanning license plates of the citizens in the parking lot.
They're part of something.
I just took video of everybody in our parking lot.
You did over here?
Yeah.
Video? Okay.
I'm gonna go
I
down
can run
there.
the plates.
Yeah.
That's weird, lady.
What I can do is
She's
The
happy.
police officer reiterates that they can indeed scan the plates, scanning plates that don't even belong to people working for me or any citizen journalist. They just start scanning all the plates. I think they found one car with a plate from Massachusetts, and they use that as apparently, again, the probable cause to become suspicious.
I want to get them in trouble. I figure I just got every license just in case.
Yeah, no problem. I can pass through and just run plates, and if they're from out of town, then. I mean, right now. Okay.
No, that's up here.
These are all the ones parked.
By God, someone have an out-of-state plate that, wants to send their kids to that school. What if they were seeing if you're really a good school district to have their kids in? They were deciding, hey, should I move here or not? And y'all just fucked it up.
Parked across the street.
I have over here and I have across the street. That's the last one. 3XGL. I can back it up.
Okay, no problem. I can.
Yes,
Hopefully,
we need it.
hopefully it's nothing. But if it turns into something, we'll handle it.
All right.
The superintendent.
Now that would have been funny, even though they'd still go back to somebody eventually. But yeah, stupid motherfuckers. Ooh, an emotional support shotgun.
Superintendent's office eventually realized that my name is James O'Keefe, and this is an O'Keefe Media Group investigation.
What's the name of the group that they might be linked to?
Oh, it's called O'Keefe Media Group.
Uh-oh.
Natalie
said that they saw it on their computer.
Yeah, they were
and if they do, they're
So were they like a
citizens
watchdog
brigade.
or?
Yeah, they're enrolling in the academy, equips you with the skills and knowledge necessary to
Oh,
break
shit.
life-changing stories, investigate surrounding corruption, and expose the rot undermining our
Look at their
society.
faces.
If that's who they are, I don't know.
What is it, O'Keefe?
O'Keefe Media Group.
And there you go. You can see the fear, the trepidation, the anxiety in the faces of these school board officials
That's the
as
one
they
in blue.
read word by word the mission and the charter for the O'Keefe Academy, which is training thousands of citizen journalists on how to do what we're doing right now.
O'Keefe Media Group. So apparently, and then now my other coworker is Googling it, and it's
There's no
like,
apparently.
I guess they riot. Enrolling in the Academy equips you with
Riot.
skills and knowledge necessary to break life-changing stories, investigate surrounding corruption, and expose the rot undermining our society. James O'Keefe offers tools for transparency to disgruntled parents in another New Jersey school district. And there's this little investigative reporter article.
Exposes, democratizes the intricate art of exposing corruption through undercover methodology. It sounds really wacky.
They're scared, and they're advertising for you to go do likewise in your community. And you can go on our website, o'keefemediagroup.com. Right here you have it. You can click on this link, go there and purchase these master classes. We'll equip you and sell you the cameras so that you can do what we did, and we can clone ourselves, which I know you want us to do. We need your help. Go to our website and purchase these classes, which go live after Labor Day.
But what did any of them talk?
Yeah, the blue jacket.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw him.
Yes, he was up there with the blazer.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was talking, and he said that he's an investigative reporter in Bergen County.
My name is James O'Keefe. I'm an investigative reporter residing in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Okay.
And he's investigating. He read Dr. Block as our.
Whoops. Those are school board members. Ghetto. Those are definitely school board members.
As our superintendent, his report of May 12th.
I read your audit report announcement on May 12th from the spring.
There was a board meeting about how we're contracting a company for an equity audit, which we are.
We've noted that here in Essex County, you've supported equity and inclusion in your PowerPoint presentation.
And he named the name of the company.
You've hired a firm called A2Z, we've learned.
They have no followers on Instagram. They don't really have a web presence, so we don't know.
Now, we don't know much about this firm. They're apparently affiliated with Rowan University. Their Instagram page has 0 posts and 41 followers, so the public will be interested to know more about that.
Investigative reporter.
Reporter from Bergen County. And
What's he doing in
Mr.
Essex
O'Keefe.
County?
Because he's a resident of New Jersey, and he's worried about his taxpayer dollars going to things of this nature, like this audit report.
Well,
and then he had 2 more minutes, and the president cut him off and said,
I'd like to interrupt. Sorry, I'm sorry. We do not allow recording of our meetings, please.
Wonder why.
you can have your 2 minutes when the recording's full up.
No, it's funny. They don't have recordings. A lot of school board meetings, they're broadcasted live stream on YouTube. I've watched a few from around the country, and let's say some get interesting with either school board meetings or a town hall meeting where the mayor pretty much shuts everyone down and stops the meeting because they're discussing something that she doesn't like that's wrong with the town. You know, those kind of things.
You are clearly recording at this time, and that's in violation of our policy. So I will grant you your 2 minutes that are left, but I would advise whoever is recording right now to please stop.
And they weren't coming off. And he insisted that it shouldn't be against law. This is their state statute in New Jersey.
And you are
State of New Jersey.
you are, but
Party consent.
it's very important to stick to the guidelines and policies and discipline of the House.
Yeah, the news, in New Jersey, it's one-way consent for recording. And then what he did was, they put the phones down.
No, Mr. O'Keefe, I'm sorry. I cannot have this conversation any further till the recording stops.
Put that down.
And then all of a sudden, he went over and he had what looked like a phone this size, all black. And he said, well, this whole meeting's been recorded, and I'm going to reveal my hidden camera footage to your entire school district, all of your parents.
Device over here that's sitting on the chair. This has, in fact, been recording the whole time. This is a hidden camera that actually has a camera in it, and it sits on the chair, and there it is recording all of you this whole meeting. So thank you very much. We'll be distributing these devices throughout Essex County here in the interests of transparency. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Block's name and his salary, he had to make sure that he got that.
And, Mr. Superintendent Block, Dr. Block, we know that you're or the higher paid people in the state, $237,000 salary. So
What the fuck? I need to become school board president. Vote for me for that too. That's half of what the president makes.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's all right. Yeah, you can see my salary if you want to go.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just saying, but he didn't get the rest of his comments out, but because he just stopped. He's like, okay, well, thank you very much. You know, so just him recording and left.
Now, after the board meeting ends, we walk through the vestibule past Officer Pancione. You can see us walking through one by one. Now, there's actually an Asian American on our team, and this leads one of the officials to say, well, there is some, quote, variety on the O'Keefe Media Group team.
What do they? I mean, what do they look like? Are they young, old, black, white, Hispanic?
It's actually they're mostly white, but there's a variety.
Tell the American people why you called the police on journalists.
I was directed to do so.
But who,
superior.
Who is your superior?
I cannot comment.
Superintendent, you're the executive assistant to Matt Block, are you not?
I am.
Okay, so he's your superior. Wow. Pretty remarkable here outside the Livingston School Board. We wonder if Matt Block is going to show up today.
What the hell? Oh.
Mr. Block, Superintendent Block,
yeah.
We've obtained police
Look at
body
this fat
cam
fuck.
footage of your executive assistant, Tony McLaughlin, and she's on the tape saying,
Life-changing stories investigate surrounding corruption and expose the rot undermining our society.
So you think this might be part of some kind of
Yeah, that's what
like an Antifa, not like an Antifa, but something along those
Antifa.
lines.
exactly what we're thinking, and maybe they're going.
So she says that her supervisor, that would be you, directed the police to come here.
Is he pregnant?
You called the cops on journalists, or you directed your executive assistant to do so. Why did you call the police on citizens attending a public school board meeting?
No comment.
Mr. Block, you make $247,000 a year. Why did you call the police on journalists? Tell the people why you called the police on journalists, sir. Completely speechless.
Go to the lobby.
Then Officer Pancione goes outside to ensure that we have left the premises. He takes out his flashlight and appears to point it at the school buses to ensure that myself, my team are not hiding underneath or next to school buses in the parking lot. Finally, Officer Pancione takes the flashlight and points it into his own car. We're not sure why he did that. Maybe he thought that I was hiding inside of his police car.
Fucking weirdo.
Now, stay tuned tomorrow as we go to the Livingston Police Department. I catch up with Captain Tom Smith. I ask him about the behavior of Officer Pancione. He gives me some very interesting reactions and some news to break there. So stay tuned for that. And because, in the words of Tony McLaughlin, executive assistant to the superintendent, Matt Block, the citizens looked, quote, Trumpish.
They look Trumpish.
Trumpish. Now, we've never exactly heard that depiction before. As soon as they see people they don't recognize, they immediately call them Trumpish. By the way, Tony McLaughlin, we are now selling merchandise on the O'Keefe Media Group website with that name. It will be on our website. We also intend to put your face on the t-shirt so we can sell merchandise to pay for more of our citizen journalism. Imagine if someone simply called the police on a citizen attending a school board meeting just by virtue of the belief that they voted for Joe Biden or they looked Biden-ish. In our Manichaean world, this is becoming an increasing possibility. Just because you look unfamiliar, they call the police on you. And apparently, if you look like a Trump voter, that is the probable cause to call the police. Reporting from Livingston, New Jersey, this is James O'Keefe with O'Keefe Media Group.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, man, I love James O'Keefe. I was pissed when they took his company from him and voted him out while he was on an airplane. Cocksuckers. But, as you can see, people get... So they just literally shown a cop. Well, it wasn't really a cop because they didn't arrest him, so I guess this technically didn't happen. But the fact that they canceled the school board meeting because of that incident is fucking weird. Why would it be bad for the parents of current or prospective parents coming to see? Maybe they're like, just, I'm doing some research. Let me see what these guys have to say. Let's see how they lean left, right, middle, up, down, circles, triangles, and underground pipelines. So, hey, Donovan, Dusty. But like I said, y'all saw some good cops, some bad cops, some great FBI guys like Mayorkas or as DOJ. Either way, the corruption goes up, the corruption goes all the way down. But he said there's good cops. And it's the ones that love to fucking chokeslam pedophiles. I mean, minor attracted people. But just remember, I'm not telling y'all how to think. Think! I'm just telling you to think. You know what I mean? And that's it. Right? I'm leaving the community. That's it. I'm done. Blah!